only thing that's going to bug me is that little rip in the blind there. Is that going to be the little peephole of light in the morning that wakes us up at 6 o'clock?
One hopes not.
Morning everyone, welcome to day 2 of our little trip to Manchester. We're about to check out of our Ibis budget hotel at Manchester Airport. Generally I slept okay, but it's a really small room. You can barely swing a cat in here, so it's ideal if you kind of want to do a one night stay before going away somewhere, or if you're in transit between locations. Definitely not somewhere you want to stay for a few days if you can avoid it. Facilities are okay, it's kind of clean. It is basic, you'd expect that from an Ibis budget hotel. There was a big rip in the blackout blind, which was a bit problematic when the sun came up this morning, and it felt like I had like a laser beam of light shining on my face, which woke me up at 6 AM, meaning I kind of struggled to go back to sleep a bit after that. But other than that, not really much else to say. It's a very basic hotel with not much to do. So we're checking out in a minute, and then we're going to do a little bit of AvGeek stuff this afternoon, have some lunch, maybe a couple of drinks, and then later on today we'll be checking in for our flight back to London Heathrow. So stay tuned to see what we get up to, and hopefully we've got lots of interesting things that we're going to share with you.
Hey everyone, a couple of hours after we checked out of our hotel this morning, you found us in a pub, and this pub's called The Airport. It's well known amongst the AvGeek community because it has a beer garden outside the back of the pub. It is just 50 metres away from one of Manchester's runways, so it's a great place to come and watch some planes take off and land. Feel a bit jet blasted potentially if you're close to one of the bigger planes that take off, and just have a really good afternoon. So we hope to get here a little bit earlier. We didn't manage to get here at the time we wanted to. There's been a bit of drama this morning, I'm afraid, with one of our beloved rucksacks that we've had for a long time, which decided that it was time to go to rucksack heaven. So I don't know, Stephen, you could probably say a bit more about what happened this morning.
Yeah, so well, Egypt Air for anyone that cares. My beloved Abercrombie bag, which has been with me all over the world, decided today was the day that it could no longer travel. So yeah, sad times. However, I am going back to Florida in October, so please subscribe to Stephen's Solo Adventure, coming up soon. And you may see me at a outlets shopping for a new bag.
Indeed, yeah. Sadly, the Zip decided to to bust, and that means it's basically you can't keep anything inside the bag, which is not conducive for a bag you can take on an airplane with you. So believe it or not, I mean, we thought we'd find it quite easy to pick up another bag at an airport, but having spent nearly an hour walking through all 3 terminals of Manchester's airport, we didn't find a single shop that was selling rucksacks or bags or anything like that. So we fortunately managed to squeeze all of our possessions into my one bag, so we should be able to get everything home nice and safe this evening, but unfortunately that will be without the Abercrombie bag, which has now been put out to pasture, let's say.
But turning to more important things, I am not an aviation, AvGeek, however you want to describe it, but the alcohol here is reasonably priced.
This is true.
They have a lot of choice. So, you know, what do they say when you get married? For better or worse? This is for better. So,
Absolutely.
support your fellow.
Stephen says it's a really nice venue. They don't do reservations or anything on tables, so if you want to come here to eat, you just turn up. If a table's available, you can sit down straight away and have food. Otherwise, you can just chill in the beer garden and watch some airplanes until the table is ready for you. So at the moment, we're just chilling in the beer garden. We have heard rumours that a A380 is going to be taking off within the next hour, so we want to have a watch of that go. But after that, we might try some lunch as well, so we'll let you know how that is. And we're going to hang around here for a little bit until we head back to Terminal 3 at Manchester's airport to catch our flight back to Heathrow.
But we will insert some video footage of actually what the venue looks like. And
Absolutely.
you know what, for anyone that's got children, this is actually quite a good place as well. They have a huge bouncy castle, they have climbing frames. For the adults, they actually have an outside bar as well. They have a load of seating in the summer, which we are still technically in. Although
you wouldn't think so today, no.
Because someone switched it off. It is actually quite a good place, you know, for children, for adults. The food looks good, as I said, you know, or as Luke said, rather, if you like airplanes, box ticked. If you like me and you like your wine, box ticked as well.
Yeah. Anyway, for now, it's back to a bit of AvGeeking, but stay tuned and see what we get up to for the rest of the day. So it's probably about time that we stop for some lunch. So we've come inside now to have a look at what the airport has to offer in terms of food. As you can see, everything is aviation themed, which I thought was a really clever idea. There's lots of choice here, pretty much something for everyone, but it is kind of typical pub grub. If you want to have a look in more detail as to what's on the menu, feel free to have a pause and read through for yourself. But whilst we were deciding what we wanted, I couldn't help but notice what a fantastic view there was from inside this pub. I'll just show you that quickly and I'll let you decide for yourselves whether I'm right on that thought. Say hello.
So, it's food time.
Indeed, yes.
It's food time. What did you go for, Babelina?
So, I went for a peppercorn sauce burger because I've never had something like that before, and it sounded really interesting. So it's just like basically a beef burger with bacon, lettuce, tomato, but rather than having ketchup or mayonnaise, I've got a steak peppercorn sauce. So that sounds amazing to me. But I was also a bit naughty and I paid a bit extra to upgrade my fries. So I've got salt and chili chicken loaded fries, which look absolutely amazing.
I mean, anyone that knows me knows I don't do chicken unless it's free range, but I'm not going to lie, that as an upgraded fries looks pretty impressive. Just for comparison purposes, I'm going to show you my fries.
A pretty epic looking burger, though. What have you got?
But yeah, so then for my burger, I went for a chili Philly cheesesteak, and yes, it's all very beigey. So
we're on a tier point trip, enjoying ourselves. So why not have a little treat? Minor disaster. We were hoping to see the A380 take off, but they switched runways, and all the takeoffs now going from the southerly runway, which is quite a long way from where we are. So if you haven't been able to see that, I'm sure there'll be another opportunity in the future to see an A380 take off from somewhere.
So I think a taste test is now in order.
Absolutely. Oh, you want to test? Right, okay. So I'm going to try the chicken.
Good?
Try it.
Yeah. Non-free range heaven.
I can't taste the salt. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more salt in it. But it's kind of crisp. Oh no, hold on. The chili is now kicking in. So yeah.
And what else is there in there as well?
So I've got some spring onions and some sriracha mayonnaise, some sweet chili sauce and some actual fire red chilies. So I'm not going to try red chili live on camera, that would be a disaster.
And the beveragino, what are we drinking?
I'm Sauvignon, of course.
Yeah.
And
It's not.
a bit of demure class in this class, right?
It's not the nicest Sauvignon though, is it? It's not a Villa Marie. Yeah. We've had better.
Either way, it's all very tasty. I don't know how to. I'm just going to try some of this burger. I'm absolutely terrified that I've got a beige, white coloured jacket on. And alright, please forgive me for my big mouth isn't. That is a game changer. I am going to replicate this somehow at home.
Yeah, delicious.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Delicious. What about you, Stephen? Do you want to try some of yours? Right, he's going for the wine first, right? Just to cleanse the palate.
Just to cleanse the palate, but because I'm demure and I'm not like those other girls, we have to do this properly.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Philly cheesesteak always reminds me of when we were in Florida, 2015, 2016. We stayed on the Sanctuary down at West Hazen, Davenport.
I remember that.
There was a pizza place. What was it? It was a Domino's.
It's Domino's, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was.
And they used to do these chili cheesesteaks.
You really struggle with that phrase, don't you? Philly cheesesteak.
Look at that deliciousness. It is meaty.
Yeah, it's nice.
I mean, there's a patty in there, but
so demure. So what do you think?
the sauce makes that.
Yeah? Is it like American cheese whiz type stuff? Looks juicy though, right?
It's delicious.
Well, that certainly was a nice meal, very delicious, very tasty. But our time here is nearly done. We're getting very close to the point we need to head back to the airport. So let's have one last look around before we take off so that you can see all the things there are to do here. So there really is a large outdoor space at this venue. And as you come outdoors, the first thing your eye is drawn to is the hangar. I guess it's designed deliberately to look like an airdrome hangar. It's a large outdoor space really that's covered with some chairs, some tables. There's an outdoor bar where you can get basic drinks like beers, wines, ciders. You can also get some bar snack type things and outdoor food, burgers, chips, the kind of basic stuff that you would normally get in an outdoor area in a pub. But as you can see, there's plenty of places to sit here if the weather turns nasty, just to keep yourselves nice and dry and safe from that. So immediately behind the hangar, you've got the kids' play area. There's a climbing frame in the middle with some kind of soft matting on the floor just to kind of protect kids from any injuries. On the day that we were there was this kind of stall as well selling teddy bears, plushies, kids' memorabilia, aviation stuff. And there's this bouncy castle as well. I don't know if that's a fixed permanent fixture here or if it's just because it was a bank holiday weekend. But either way, as you can see, plenty of stuff for the kids to do. And for the observants amongst you, you'll see that the climbing frame is shaped like an aeroplane. Now, I suppose the really good thing about this is that the climbing frame in the kids area is literally right near that outdoor bar. So if you want to go and grab yourself a drink or two while your kids play, you know you'll be able to do that in the confidence that you'll still be able to see what they're up to and make sure that they're keeping safe. Other than that, there's this large kind of beer garden area. Again, lots of seating, lots of tables where you can sit and relax and have a drink or even some bar snacks or something to eat whilst you're watching the aeroplanes take off and land. And as you can see, you're never too far away from the main building itself. There's this little pathway that goes between these kind of trees, which heads back towards the back entrance to the pub. So if you decide that you do want something to eat, you can sit outside while you're waiting for your table, as we mentioned earlier. And then as soon as your table is called, it's a very short walk to get yourself back inside the building to enjoy something nice and tasty. But it's time for us to head off now. So as we walk through the pub one last time, you can see that the aviation theme continues indoors as well. There's this really large ornate bar at the back of the building. The light fittings have aeroplane propellers above them as well. All of this just kind of contributes to the fact that this really is an AvGeek pub and somewhere that any AvGeek would really need to come and visit. Before we knew it though, we're back at the airport and with no bags to check, it's straight through security and then we're going to find our way to the Escape Lounge, which is the lounge that British Airways use for their premium customers at Manchester Airport. So we have made it to the airport. We've spent a bit of time chilling in the escape lounge in Terminal 3. It took us a bit of a time to get here. We got to the airport, went through what they call the fast track queue, which is what we get with priority status, which just seemed to kind of funnel us straight back into the normal security queue.
It was not fast.
It was not fast.
It was
at all.
glacial. Glacial is a good word.
It took some time, and then of course I accidentally managed to leave a small can of Pepsi in my bag, which meant it got filtered out of the queue, and they wanted to check everything, so that took a bit of time as well.
But reassuring
that they found it, absolutely, yeah, because it clearly shows that the system works.
It was a test. It was a test just to make sure.
But either way, we got through security. We came into the lounge for a little bit. The airport seems really busy, actually. Downstairs in the main terminal, there was nowhere to sit, and all the restaurants and bars looked like they were overflowing. So I'm really glad that we have lounge access. The lounge is incredibly busy as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite compact, actually. We've got some footage that we will show you. It's quite compact. And it's not quite what you'd expect from a BA lounge, but it is a contract lounge. They don't have their own lounge in Manchester.
It's totally night and day, but I think if you were paying for it, you wouldn't be disappointed. In saying that, there's been 3 people, a throuple, that have been sitting opposite us, and they have made...
They've definitely made their money's worth.
They have made their money's worth.
Absolutely. I don't think there's not been a moment when there hasn't been a new drink open on the table or food being consumed or something like that.
Well, there's less food and more alcohol, but I think they're going to float onto that plane. And
absolutely.
They caught me looking at one point as well.
So yeah, we're not sure where they're going.
Malaga for a
was it Malaga?
I think it might have been Antalya.
That's a 4-hour flight. That's a long time. So they're going to be buzzing. Maybe that's why they're building themselves up for it. I don't know. But either way, they were definitely getting their money's worth. So our flight is running a few minutes late. Not as bad as yesterday, which is good. As bad as yesterday. For about 10 minutes late or so. We've checked and it's on its way up from Heathrow. So hopefully we'll be away from here fairly soon. On our way back to London. To be honest, I'm starting to flag a little bit. I'm starting to feel a bit tired. It's been a long day, a long busy day. A flight yesterday, a flight to come today, lots of activities today.
Sacrifices you need to make to get that gold status.
Absolutely.
I've not had to do that.
Yeah.
Just here for the ride.
Just here for the ride, yeah. But I'm actually looking forward to getting home and crashing out in our own bed tonight. So
yeah. Fluff monsters, looking forward to us. Sad thing is though, is that the connection at the other end doesn't work. So we need to work out how we're going to get back from Heathrow. It's probably looking like a train and a taxi, which is not going to be fun.
Anyway, overall we had a good time at the airport pub. The weather wasn't great, but it was good to be there and good to experience that. I definitely recommend going if you're ever up this way and that's your kind of thing that you're into.
And it's not my thing, but
says the person taking more footage than I did.
It's not my thing. But the alcohol was really cheap. And
it was,
when I mean cheap, I mean you could get a large glass of wine for £7, which is probably on par or just slightly cheaper than London prices, which is good. And also considering that they were in an area that was there was nothing else around, they could charge what they want. But it was really reasonable. Yeah. Food was reasonable, but then I didn't actually pay for the food. Luke paid for that.
I'm nice like that.
Yeah, so all in all, I had a good day financially.
Definitely had a good day, yeah. Well, I've had a good day enjoying myself, doing some AvGeek stuff and chasing some tier points. So we're on the way now to getting that gold. We're going to sign off for the time being and start getting ready to head down to the gate to get our flight home, and we'll check in with you again a little bit later. Talking of our flight home, it looks like this is our aircraft landing from Heathrow. So it's probably about time that we start getting our things together and making our way to the gate so that we can head ourselves back to London and then home to Sussex. So we're on our way to London, as you can see. We've left the gate. There really wasn't an opportunity for me to take much footage of the gate area. I mean, it really wasn't a gate area. In Manchester, it's more like a corridor, and you get kind of queued up one side of the air bridge if you're in boarding groups 1, 2 and 3. You get queued up the other side if you're in one of the lower down boarding groups. It was quite chaotic, quite difficult boarding, but we did do it. We did manage to get on. Now, however, we're sat down and we're on our way to the runway, ready to take off back towards London. Now, I have to say, the takeoff is always the best part of a flight for me. There's something about the feeling as your seat comes up behind you whilst those engines spool up, and then your plane powering down the runway and eventually lifting off up into the sky. It always gets me every time. And again, speed is the theme of this flight. It's just over half an hour long, as was our flight up to Manchester, and in that time, our crew has got to serve an entire A321 worth of passengers with their meal services, with their drinks, with their snacks, depending on what cabin you're on. So it's all going to be about how quickly that crew can do things. Now again, for me, I'd eaten enough food in the lounge this time, so we're going to reverse things a bit. Stephen, on the other hand, has decided that he would like something to eat. So on the menu this evening is a beef carpaccio salad served with sun-dried tomatoes. Alongside that was a mango and passion fruit mousse. Always the start of any meal is a dessert. And of course, I had to help Stephen with it, given that he helped me with my chocolate dessert on the way up to Manchester. And of course, who does not love a glass of champagne served with any meal? And of course, who would not want a view like this? The ability to have your dinner watching the sunset from above the clouds at altitude. This has to be, in my view, one of the best things that you will ever see whilst you're flying on an aeroplane. Now, anyone that's landed at Heathrow knows that it can be one of the best approaches to an airport in the world, particularly in the hours of darkness, and this evening was certainly no exception. We got to see some of the tower blocks and the skyscrapers of the City of London, as well as St Paul's Cathedral as we came into land. Now, this evening we turned in quite late, so we didn't quite get to see everything that London has to offer, and we were also coming in on the northern runway, so that meant that we didn't really get to capture the South Bank and the Houses of Parliament and the London Eye, which I've definitely seen on an approach to Heathrow in the past. That said, I still think this view is quite impressive, and I would love to hear what the rest of you think in the comments about your experiences of landing at Heathrow Airport. Now, much as we'd love to show you the whole landing into Heathrow, it does take several minutes from this point. So we're going to speed things up a little bit and just abridge the landing, and whilst doing so, tell you a bit about how we intend to get home once we get off the aircraft. Okay, so on the way to Manchester, we got the Oxford Airline coach from Gatwick to Heathrow. It's quite convenient for us. It's reasonably frequent, at once an hour, and it doesn't take too long for us to get from Gatwick to Heathrow. On this particular return journey, though, our flight doesn't land at Heathrow at a time that connects well with the airline coach. So that means we're going to have to look at a slightly different option for getting from Heathrow back to Gatwick. Now, the reason I say that is because on the video on the way up to Manchester, I explained that come evening, overnight, the airline goes to a lower frequency, roughly every 2 to 2.5 hours. And our flight from Manchester is going to land around 10 minutes after a coach has departed from Heathrow to get back to Gatwick. Now, we really don't fancy that long wait, so what we're going to do instead is catch an Elizabeth line train from Heathrow Airport to Farringdon, where we should be able to connect to a Thameslink train from Farringdon back to Three Bridges, and from Three Bridges, we should then be able to get a taxi or a bus back to where we live. But for now, we're about to land at the airport, so we'll see you in a very short while in the ticket office at the Elizabeth line station within Heathrow Airport Terminal 5.
Yeah, I think that says it all. So anyway, we've got to Heathrow finally. The plan was we were going to get the Elizabeth line to Farringdon and then a train back from Farringdon to where we live in Sussex, because that would have got us there quicker than the coach would have done. But what we have found is nothing but, I think, chaos is the best way of putting it. There were some ticket machines at Heathrow Airport where we tried to punch in, we're going to Three Bridges, and all we got was, sorry, there are no tickets available for this journey, even though we know from national rail inquiries you get the Elizabeth line to Farringdon and a train from Farringdon back to Three Bridges way up until the small hours of the morning, if not overnight. Could we find a human being anywhere that could help us with these nonsense of machines? No, we could not. Could we find out anywhere on TfL's website how we buy a ticket? No, we could not. Was there something on the messaging saying there was some issues with the Elizabeth line, it wasn't running properly? Yes, there was, but yet the departure board was saying they were still coming, but some people were saying no, they're not coming, and we couldn't find anyone to help us whatsoever. And in all honesty, we're tired, a little bit cranky, ready to go to bed. So instead, what we've done is decided to revert to old trusty. Even though we're going to have to wait roughly an hour, we've grabbed ourselves one of these.
Yum, yum, yum.
Absolutely. And we're going to wait for the good old Oxford Airline coach to get us back to Gatwick, from where we'll probably get a taxi home, because I've checked the times and it doesn't quite connect with our once an hour overnight bus, so we're going to have a very long wait to Gatwick for another bus. So we will get home, I think, somewhere before midnight, if not around midnight. At least we'll get home. But big thumbs down to anyone who is trying to cut, or anyone I suppose who has designed the way that the Elizabeth line ticketing system works, because it just does not work. Sorry guys.
On a plus side, our crew on the flight back were really attentive. I want to say we probably got through half a bottle of champagne each, if not more.
They would not let our glasses go less than half full.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can drink in 35 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So, big thumbs up to the crew and BA. Absolutely fantastic flight for a 35-minute flight where they were trying to serve 6 rows of business class passengers. They did a phenomenal job. So I'm definitely going to do the thank you thing to BA staff on the website that you can do as well. So that they get,
you know, when you're gold tier members and you're sitting at the front of the plane,
I suppose
they know who they should be serving, and they served as well.
Cool. Anyway, so we are an hour away from getting on the coach home. I've just checked the coach is on its way from Oxford, so we are in line to get home at some point this evening, but not quite where we wanted to. Anyway, we'll check in probably one more time when we get home, so everyone knows that we are home safe and sound. Until then, we're going to enjoy our coffees.
Here we go, boys and girls.
Okay, we've just got back home. We didn't quite make it before midnight. It's 7 minutes past midnight, so it has been a bit of a crazy day today, but I think it's worth it. It's got me another 80 tier points going away for one night in Manchester. It allowed me to have a little bit of AvGeek fun as well at Manchester, in the beer garden at the pub that we visited, and I'm that little bit closer to catching Stephen up and being gold status. But yeah, it's been a great experience. I don't know how you found it, Stephen.
Tiring.
Yeah.
Very, very tired, but yeah, it's good to get out and do something different.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that we've got another trip lined up next week, which we're going to try and do in one day. That could be interesting. We'll probably get back around a similar time, but at least it won't be a kind of a busy day one day, then a busy day the next day. It's all going to be in one 24-hour window. So yeah, hopefully you'll tune in for that as well. We're gonna kind of record that experience and share that with you guys in a vlog as well.
So that's a Glasgow trip, and we're flying from Gatwick, and we will be taking you guys along to the first class lounge there. See what that has to offer, and obviously do some comparisons to Heathrow. And then we've also got Budapest lined up as well for a long weekend with some friends. So a lot is coming down the line.
Indeed. Well, we hope you've enjoyed sharing this experience with us. It's late now. I can feel my eyelids going a little bit, which probably tells me it's time to jump into bed and get a bit of sleep. So thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you again on our next vlog.
And please like, subscribe, and comment.
Absolutely.
See you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.